Good evening, everyone. So, I'm here to help you out with your queries as I was getting many comments on the videos that I had posted, and I found that children were very confused about certain things for their literature paper, like writing quotes in the answers, in what way to elaborate points, and all that. So, I would like to discuss with you, first of all, the specimen paper, which is very important for you to go through because I always say to my children that you need to consider the specimen paper like your Bible. You need to follow the way the answers have been given in those specimen papers. And I would request you that whatever queries you have, you please ask me so that I can take your questions and your queries. And of course, other children will also be benefited with that. All right, so I am going to begin in just one more minute. Let's wait for other people also to join. All right, children. So, this year's specimen paper tells us so many things that we need to understand. If we look at the MCQs here, you can see that you get recall based, understanding based, and analysis based MCQs here. Right? When we say recall based, it means that you need to have thorough knowledge of the text. Okay, and if we say it understanding based, it means you need to understand the text, and analysis means deeper meaning of the text. Deeper meaning means you should be able to know about the themes, you should be able to know about the literary devices, characters. All right, so Mukund says, ma'am, how is irony used in this story? There will come soft rains. Beta, the answer is very simple. Technology that humans have been using for their benefits, which they thought is going to make them develop, rather which they thought is going to make their lives easy, that technology that does not bother about humans at all. This is ironical in the story that nuclear war, the story shows us the consequence of nuclear war where the whole city has been devastated because of that war. So nuclear war is actually an example of technology. All right, but how it has devastated the humanity only, it has devastated human beings only. And now that technology, the house is automated, it is using machines, it is working in its routine, but without any humans anymore, right? Okay, so Macbeth banquet scene, important points to include. Please discuss. Okay, see, dictate, ma'am. See, as far as important points of Macbeth is concerned, beta, I had posted a video earlier in which I have discussed so many points. They are revision in one shot for Macbeth as well as for stories and poems, and I have discussed all important points there in that. Okay, so I would like to advise you to just watch those videos. I have jotted important points related to all scenes and acts of the play that are there in your syllabus. I think you will be able to get that, right? So, here we were discussing about the specimen paper, children. So, as in the specimen paper, in the specimen paper, complete sentences also you can see, though I have already told you that you need not to write the full sentence, you can only write the answer. These are reasoning questions basically. And mostly children are confused about 5 marks questions and 10 marks questions. As someone is asking me here, Rishabh Jain, is it compulsory to add quote in answer? So let me tell you something very clear about it. You have a lot of confusion about it. Please try to understand. Why do we use quotes? Why do we have to quote the text in our answer? The idea is to justify the point that we are giving related to the question. Okay, so there are two ways to do it. See, if you remember the exact quotes, means in the exact language of the text, then you can just write the quote and do away with justifying your point, right? But if you don't remember the quote, you may give the reference related to that quote in your own language also. See, the purpose that it fulfills is to justify the point. Please understand, there are no specific marks for quotes. There are no specific marks for quotes, but yes, you get better marks if you write the quotes, right? And for that, I have told the technique also in my previous videos, which I was just talking about: revision of Macbeth in one shot, or revision of stories in one shot, or poems in one shot. In those videos, I have told you how to give quotes, right? You see, I have given you very simple lines, like, for example, Lady Macbeth says, "What's done is done." Huh? Like Macbeth says, "My mind is full of scorpions." So these are very simple lines, children, which you can learn very easily, and these are very general quotes which can be used in most of the answers, right? So make it that way. Mukund is asking, "Ma'am, how is awful power of death treated in Death Be Not Proud?" Actually, power of death, which is supposed to be awful, is not at all treated as awful in this poem, because the poet here tries to make out that death is not powerful at all. Okay? Writing the summary of the given question will help obtain marks. See, beta, summary of questions, I don't understand. In case you mean to say the summary of the story or the poem? Do you mean to say, Rick Banerjee, you are asking me writing the summary? What do you mean summary of the question? See, you sometimes children, what they do, they write the summary of the text, but it is not going to help you much. It may get you some points, some marks, but only the marks where in the summary you are writing about that point which is supposed to be the point of answer. You will get marks only for that. Now the kind of paper that comes, you see, there is no scope of writing summaries. Earlier, when there used to be 20 marks question on 15 marks question, that is where the children might use summaries in their answers, but not now. 5 marks answer have to be very relevant and to the point, and similarly 10 marks answers also. But yes, somewhere in 10 marks answer you may make use of summary in case you don't know the answer. All right. Mukund, "Ma'am, please tell, why does the landlady insist on knowing about exact skin color of the prospective tenant of the telephone conversation?" So she insists on knowing about exact color because she was an advocate of racism. She believed in racism at all. She was highly prejudiced about the skin color. So she wanted to make sure before keeping somebody as a tenant, she wanted to make sure whether the person is dark in complexion or white in complexion, because of this racial prejudice that she believed in. Okay, Rick Banerjee is saying, "Suppose if we don't know what the answer we have to put, but we understand where the answer is to be input, then the parts of summary will help." Yes, of course. Yes, of course, Rick. It will definitely help in that case. Mukund says, "In the poem Beethoven, poet has touched as a greatness of him as a composer. Elaborate and illustrate. How to write this answer?" Of course. So, see, if you have to write about this, first of all, you need to describe Beethoven, as a great composer. So, what are the examples that you can take from the text? How do you know that he was a great composer? That has to be written. Then you have to justify it with the instances from the text. All right. "Ma'am, can you please tell probable question frame for poem Small Towns and River, as I think it is most probable poem in for exam?" Rishabh, here, beta, I would like to advise you to please watch my previous video where revision of poems in one shot. Here for okay, I think I have not given questions there. All right, okay. I can talk to you about some probable questions about Small Towns and the River. See, Small Towns and the River talks about the cycle of life and death, where we find that continuous flowing river is talking about life, and the small town has been described as a dead entity, which is very monotonous, which is stagnant, constant. So questions related to these themes can be asked on that, right? Why was Tithonus unhappy through though blessed with immortality? Because he got immortality, but he did not get eternal youth. And due to that, the aging factor, it became so difficult for him to survive. Somehow he was not liking the looks that he had. He was not, there was no energy left in him. So, that's why in the poem it is very clearly mentioned that sometimes it is good to have an end of something, right? So that is why he was very unhappy, though he was given that um boon of eternity, immortality, that he would never die. But his youth died. If he did not die, his youth died, and then it was, and he could see his beloved being so beautiful and full of vigor and energy, but he himself was not. That is why he didn't like it, and somehow he was very unhappy about it, right? Okay, so you see significance of the title, there will come soft rains. So actually the title has been taken from the poem that has been mentioned in the text also. So the significance is that if we see something coming to an end, it doesn't mean that it is dying, and it doesn't mean that it is going to end only. It actually is going to revive again, and that has been said in context of nature. All right, what should be a time management strategy for tomorrow exam? Okay, Rishabh, I would like to mention here that you see, as far as time management is concerned, what I expect that like the first section, which is 20 mark section, MCQs and completion of sentences, that should be completed in 30 marks, 30 minutes, sorry. Okay, that should be done in 30 minutes. And after that, you have 2.5 hours. And out of those 2.5 hours, I would suggest that at least 20 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes should be kept separate in revising the paper, highlighting important points. So in that case, 2 hours, complete 2 hours, you have to complete three sections of, where you have to do six 5 marks questions and three 10 marks question. That all should be done in 2 hours. That should be your strategy. All right. So, you see, if we talk about the points that have been given in these this specimen paper also, children, I would like you to go through the answer key that has been given. The long answers given in this section outline the correct approach and specify the areas that the candidates must build their answers on. These answers are not limiting but only suggestive. Any other correct interpretation supported by textual evidence will be accepted. Now, please, please focus on interpretation supported by textual evidence. That is how you are supposed to write your answers. You have to, whatever point you are giving, whatever your opinion or interpretation about the text that you are writing, that should be supported by textual evidence. Now, what is this textual evidence? Either it has to be the quote, either you write the quote of from the text, or you give the reference in your own words. Okay? Or you give the reference in your own words. That is what you are supposed to do. Now, in 5 marks question, you are already given 2 points. Those are prompts. 2 points. So, your answer should be based on those 2 points only. So, it is very clear that for 5 marks, 2 points are there. Those points are given in the question. What you are supposed to do is just to amplify or elaborate on those points and then prove them with textual reference. Right? But for 10 marks question, children, just see. From Macbeth, first question 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points have been given. Another question 5 points are given. Then from stories also, first question 6 points are given. Then another question also, 6 points are there. From poetry as well, for first 10 marker 6 points and second 10 marker 5 points. So what we can conclude that in 10 marks question, minimum 5 to 6 points should be given. 5 to 6 points, 5 to 6 interpretations, opinions justified by example from the text. Do you understand? So, this is what you have to be careful about, right? Okay. Mukund is asking another question. Indigo is a supernatural story. Discuss with the close reference to the text. What to write in this? Beta, it is such a simple question. Of course, it's a because supernatural element is found in this story. The way this man, the protagonist of the story, he suddenly feels a transformation in his appearance, in his body, even in his voice, and the way when he is writing answer, as if the soul of that indigo planter has entered his body. All right, so this is what the supernatural element is in the story. You need to describe that in this question, right? The kind of eerie and spooky atmosphere that has been spoken about the dark bungalow, and he even asked the person whether it is a haunted place. So, and then later on what all happens with him, that all talks about supernaturalism only. Ma'am, why is the poem Death Be Not Proud included in the Holy Sonnet of Dawn? Um, See, this question, I don't think it's an examination point of view question at all. But yes, because it talks about in the Holy Sonnet of Dawn, because in this poem, Death Not Be Proud, also, he says that death doesn't exist only. If a person dies, actually, he is entering into a new life, that is, life after death. All right. So it ends on an optimistic approach. Okay, so this is what is something very important, but the question that you have framed here will not be asked. Such questions are not asked in the ISC papers, right? So I think I have covered all important points that were supposed to be told about your literature paper tomorrow. One thing that I would like to tell you, children, please don't be nervous. You have to be confident. You have read a lot. You know what is to be written. You just have to decode the question, read the question at least twice, understand, try to understand, and try to figure out what has been asked in the question, and your answer should be based on that. Please understand, the examiners who are going to examine your answer scripts, they are there to give you marks. These exams are there to judge your knowledge. These exams are conducted to judge how much the child knows, not to judge how much the child doesn't know, right? So the paper, of course, is going to be there. If you are thorough with the text, if you have prepared critical analysis of all the texts that you have in your syllabus, you are going to score well. Contrast between Tithonus and Death Be Not Proud is almost similar. How? Because you see, Tithonus talks about immortality, but at the same time, it talks about what would we say, shortcomings of immortality. See, being immortal, that you don't die, is not so important, but having the quality of life is more important. Similarly, in Death Be Not Proud, also, he talks about inexistence of death, that death doesn't exist only. All right. So that is what somehow the themes are a little similar. We won't say completely they are same, but yes, we find some kind of similarity, because both the poems revolve around death only, right? Okay, so that's all for now. If there is any other question that you have or any query in your mind, you can put it in the comment box. I'll try to sort it. All right. All the very best, children, for your exam tomorrow. I hope and wish and pray that you all do extremely well, and you make full use of your knowledge. Please write the points. And one thing again I would like to mention, that if in case you are not able to follow the word limit and write extra, that's okay. But what you should focus upon is that you write sufficient points. All right. So, how to write 5 marks for change in Martin's attitude? See, beta, if it is going to be a 5 marks question, they will be giving you two prompts for it. Which two incidents have to be quoted to highlight the change? All right. So, you will write your answer based on those points. Okay. So, that's all for today. Wish you all the best, children. Thank you so much. And please do well in your exam. You will be able to do well.